This week on Hermitcraft, we have to do something we never expected to do when we started this recap. We have to deliver an obituary. In the early morning of Saturday, August 13th, Tinfoil Chef passed away at the age of 63. The community was informed of this by his sister, who has been posting updates on Twitter during his recent health issues. TFC has been part of the Hermitcraft server since Season 2, and while his recent episodes had been few and far between, it's clear that he will always remain a pillar of Hermitcraft's identity and its history. A reminder that all ages and play styles are welcome in the Minecraft community, and that Hermitcraft celebrates them all. On behalf of all of us here at the Hermitcraft Recap, we'd like to show our sincere condolences to the friends and family of Tinfoil Chef, and to his community who supported him throughout his time with us. And if you'd like to continue supporting him, his sister will be collecting PayPal donations to help with his funeral and other expenses at the email address linked on screen right now and in the video description. But above all else, it was clear from his videos that TFC had an awesome sense of humour. His laid-back attitude, dry wit, and trademark laugh were what kept some people coming back to his videos, and we're happy to have been responsible for a few of those laughs from time to time. So we're sure that the last thing TFC would want is for us to pull any punches with this episode and bog it down with too much sentimentality. We're going to get back to business, reporting the latest from the server and making our light-hearted jokes, but with a heavier heart than usual. And while we get on with the rest of this recap, just know that we're missing TFC, and he'll be on our minds for a while yet. Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is LoyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara, and this week the server descended into total chaos, and that's not just because Corrales is back. Cub fans' magnum opus sees its first flight, but not before Cub freaking evaporates a building. But it's not the only game on the rise, because Tango has broken ground on the subterranean monster that he will then fill with subterranean monsters. Decked Out 2 has gone into production, and is already generating spiders, so that's a good sign. Meanwhile, the noble knights undertaking the king's quests have signed their names and delivered their heads to the Arch of Champions, where their rewards for earning those precious quest tokens are stacking up in the form of diamond blocks. And Vintage Beef's card game is interrupted by iJevin's trivia game. It's games within games within games. So let's get our game faces on and take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with His Majesty King Rendog I, who meets up with his Major Domo at the Arch of Champions and decides it'll be good motivation for the rest of the commoners to see someone pulling into the lead. BOO gets his first few diamond blocks for good behaviour, and that's even before he handed over the keys to the castle.
Key to the castle?
Yeah.
Wait, you finished it already? Oh, baby, look at, oh my goodness.
Yes, all for you, my highness.
King Ren gets a tour of his new digs, which is such a modern medieval castle, it includes some wood types Mojang hasn't even invented yet.
Look at
Never once.
the magnolia.
Yes, this is magnolia. Magnolia wood.
What's it called?
Magnolia wood now.
Is it
forever.
magnolia?
Well, now mangrove.
After that, we flash forward to the Arch of Champions in full swing. XB Crafted was winning at the time of Ren's recording, and Ren assesses the new contributions to the shopping district before returning to digging out a suspiciously dungeon-shaped box underneath the castle's throne room. B-Dubs, the royal architect, continues to game the system, making a few shopping district purchases at a profit from the quest hub. But he's still got the crown's best interests in mind, and the crown is very interested in having a netherite throne. B-Dubs aims to get hold of a block himself, but at least some of the other hermits have been subsidizing his efforts.
Oh! Hey! There's 2 netherite blocks in here. So kind. Somebody... Oh, look how long they take to mine as well.
With the get-rich-quick schemes in his back pocket, he has room to experiment, parking a pop-up shop over in the shopping district. The van not only sells B-Dubs' heads from various skins throughout his recent career, it also has a way to produce them. If the popping noises sound like the van is backfiring, don't worry, it's all intentional.
I talked to Suzuma earlier, and he said that he was also interested in making a system for this.
The bragging rights arch moves hypnotized into a loop of throwing progressively stranger materials into Ren's quest hole. First, the netherwoods from his household tree farm earn a shiny crystal, and then the netherite dig scores a whole pile of royal diamonds, thanks to the unorthodox method of finding someone else's 2x1 tunnel, then filling it with dynamite.
If somebody wanted to explode the tunnel, they would have definitely done it by now. Hermits just don't go into the nether, dig a 2x1, and then come back a month later or something like that to try and get more stuff, right? That just doesn't happen.
Remaining materials go into Hypno's new auto-sorting system, some of it for storage and a lot of it because it's made of them. It's telling that the decorated and advanced redstone auto-sorter resides in the giant cylinder he dug up a little while ago. We can't make this up, folks. He spent most of the week throwing stuff down a pit, then came home and threw himself into one. Another storage system emerges from the mind of Etho this week, although the way it arrives there is a little unusual. I guess he's been eating too many sponge blocks before bed.
Oh, it's daytime. No, the dream! The dream is forever lost in Dream World.
But these night terrors, and maybe the one time he shared the place with a warden, convince him to move out of B-Dubs' basement and claim a spot in the jungle, where he sets up some villagers and a flower farm, takes a quick tour through the shopping district for some more abstract supplies, and starts building a shulker search engine. The impressive system expands on his previous ideas for looking up resources from deep storage, and while he's still working out the kinks, he's at least able to teach it the difference between clay balls and bamboo. So expect this thing to have developed a consciousness and be questioning its existence by this time tomorrow.
But let's say we're looking for bamboo. So we got bamboo here. We hit Q to throw it into the item filter. There's a hopper right here that sucks it up. And that automatically starts the search. And then when we want to access the shulker boxes, we can stand on the pressure plate here. And oh, look, we got bamboo in this one. And we can take the bamboo out and use it and whatnot.
It's not clear if iJevin is planning to plug any redstone into his chest amphitheater, especially now that he decided to pace himself with the bigger projects.
So here lately, I've been hitting it pretty hard for content. Doing a lot of designs and building these big massive structures in sort of one video.
An admirable decision, given how rampant burnout is, especially amongst people who rip out half their own mountain they custom built and put the storage stadium in its place over the span of one time-lapse. It's iJevin. iJevin is those people.
I have been extremely burnt out.
Your next question, what else does iJevin do this week? If you answered challenges Vintage Beef to a trivia game, you just won 32 Blackstone and you can move on to the next round.
A
The
skeleton.
next question, number
Okay.
7.
Yep.
How many active members are in Hermitcraft right now?
There are 26, and I know that because I'm building a card for each of them.
That's true. You do know that from the card game.
Yes.
I didn't think of that when I was making these questions. Now I feel a little...
I think I made a good... Oh, he left his book behind. What? He didn't have any questions here. It's just all repeating cat.
Jevin arrives in the middle of a new innovation to Vintage Beef's own card game. He has a new way of displaying the Hermit's health during matches, which cleverly eliminates one frequently asked question during their test game and only requires him to make 30 more maps to implement. Amazingly, he finds his rhythm and has most of them done by the end of the episode, even with other interruptions like XB Crafted swinging by for Beef to swing a sword at his head and Corrales having some particularly scary legs.
Dude. Oh. You
Did I scare you, by the way?
me so hard. Oh my goodness. Because I placed blocks like this facing down and then I looked up and there was legs there. Oh my goodness.
Corrales generally makes a habit out of appearing places this week. Having skipped on a few weeks of hermitcrafting due to a family vacation, he also goes full tourist on the server. Even takes pictures everywhere, just not the ones you'd expect for the family album. XB really takes him sightseeing across the server. They sightsee the warden someone left in Corrales' base, they sight steal everything from an ancient city, and they sight break and enter into the castle B-Dubs was building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know what they've shown inside. I know I saw B-Dubs uploaded a video saying he completed the castle, but I didn't.
Okay, I'm
Like,
coming
look
out then.
inside,
Just in case I'm coming out.
These, however, are not the things that live on in the scrapbook. Instead, it's going to be filled with photos capturing unsuspecting hermits in their natural habitat. Not too long ago, Zedaf had a whole system for evaluating his paparazzi shots. Now with Corrales helping him, he can go unnoticed for much longer.
Wait a moment. No.
I got
it. Grade?
I got
A
it.
grade?
I think so. It was really close, but I got it.
And let's say he's gonna be stuck here throughout his whole stream.
Oh, you
Shall we
mean...
just be sitting here, or do we make an escape plan to get out of this place?
The two of them play spies around the server, taking turns distracting the victims while another snaps in a kind of rent-a-derp Ouroboros. The line, "I see Azuma's void," is said at some point.
I see him. Let me try and get a shot here. Yeah, I see the rear. I see Azuma's void.
In this mess, I don't even know how we can talk about Zed's Wings and Things shop. It sells elytra and things. Next Hermit. It's lucky Corrales wanted a tour, because XB wanted one too. He's dedicated most of his week to getting ahead in the Arch of Champions contest, and as we mentioned earlier, that dedication has paid off. The diamond rewards come easy when you're in the mood to celebrate the Hermitcraft Reddit community or go digging for ancient debris. Plus, getting a base tour from Corrales means getting to laugh at him as he encounters the Warden for the first time.
That's my present. Oh, careful now. That's not from me.
Out.
That is not from me. That is not from me.
Oh, he's mad. What do I do with him?
Joe Hills also steps up to the challenge of questing in the name of the king, and even auditions to be the king's scribe because he's good at lettering, as he proves in an audition tape where he writes out the front page of defont.com by hand.
And if you're checking out my other qualifications, let me tell you, I own a physical book on typography, and I've actually read it, not just flipped through looking at all the pretty letter forms.
But one thing Joe knows will make the king happy is extending the roads throughout the shopping district, and it just so happens his axolotl shop needed street access. The road in question stops short of the beach, but that leaves enough room for a boardwalk in future, and Joe even fits a manhole cover in case any of the local adolescent turtles feel like becoming ninjas.
So if somebody knows what it's for, they can kind of bring their own redstone and open it up. But like in the same way that a manhole in New York City requires a special manhole like key with a fancy hook to open.
Finally, for no other reason than because she asked nicely, Joe helps Zombie Cleo set up a nether portal to her Atlantis build so she can prepare for the royal visit without royally screwing up the coordinates. In turn, Cubfan135 makes sure no one can miss the road to his Total Chaos game. It's fitting the nether tunnel he builds for it is lined with respawn anchors. You could say it's a metaphor. The Nether takes another good beating from Cub on his way to help out in the royal businesses. Digging for netherite is reason enough to break out all the explosives he had laying around. Though focusing only on quests that can be completed with TNT still somehow leaves him with too much TNT. And you know he spared none since even the quest to sneak his head into Grian's house used up a bunch. That's when Cub undertakes the legendary task of removing the woodland mansion that sticks out like a sore thumb in front of Ren's castle. Can't just burn it because fire tick is off, but try parrying this, you filthy casual.
Oh, okay. Maybe a little too close on that one. Haha, look at that. Apparently there were a bunch of golden eggs in here that were undiscovered from when the Easter egg hunt was held in here.
But that brings us to the main event, Chaos Totaled, now with people in it. Plenty of contestants show up to try for the commemorative hat Cub promised. For now, no team play is attempted, which is fair given the, well, everything present on the screen right now. Between the potions, the arrows coming out of the walls, and the dripstone falling from the ceiling, it's a miracle any of the contestants scored any kills in what Cub describes as PvP during the apocalypse. Round 1 takes out everyone but Hypnotized, and it's noteworthy that when Cub dies and puts up a picture-in-picture aerial view to show what goes on inside, it's still too much of a mess to make out anything. Another amazing bit is the fact that in a few spots the arena rocks so hard it starts pulling itself apart, which is pretty metal if you ask me.
The arrow in the middle here actually reflects off of a falling dripstone, reverses its momentum compared to all the other arrows, and then slowly falls backwards toward the powdered snow, and then of course since it's a flaming arrow, it slices through all the powdered snow.
Doc M77 scores the second round, though he has to do it with no armor, since the dripstone has thinned out a little bit. Not for long, Cub is quick to refill his supply of ceiling triangles, lest the future contestants get too comfortable. Azuma Void decides on a more helpful application of TNT, to the forehead. After B-Dubs showcases his way of solo head gathering, X picks out a spot for his own take on a player kill chamber. Lit TNT still counts as a player kill, self-kill by TNT still counts as a reason to drop head, and having spare heads really helps when you have to frequently use them to sign up for quests. Speaking of quests, he finally tackles that totally free shop task and builds an item exchange spot. Named Depot, it's an open-air community library of base materials and assorted things you don't mind giving away. Not too shabby for someone in the royal dunce hat. And finally there's Tango Tech, and presidential alert, it's go time. This week, Tango sinks into the development of his Decked Out 2 game, in a way, literally, because the whole facility will be underground. There are spider spawners there.
And we even got 3 spider spawners just floating up over there. And the best part is, after all this digging, this massive chamber, yeah, it's not big enough. Nope, too small.
Of course, arachnids are not planned to be the primary danger of the dungeon, not even the warden really is. Instead, there's a new sheriff in town called the Clank and Hazard Systems. The former, alive and well since the first Decked Out, the latter is how I'd describe the spider spawners. Both will ensure that the more time you spend in the level, the harder it becomes. And you'll want to stay a little longer to try and find treasured artifacts to sell for coins to buy better artifacts and cards. They are not the only currency available either. Through the dungeon, you'll rarely find frost embers that all have to be spent before you exit, adding a certain optimization challenge. And yes, all of the items and cards now have their own custom textures that make the environment feel like a completely separate game suddenly dropped in the middle of the Hermitcraft server. But before any of these mechanics can be put to use, Tango will have to build the set dressing rich enough for the traps to fit in. And he's off to a solid start with the very entrance area, the frozen tomb being a sprawling net of ice caves peppered with morbid landmarks. And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP and my name is PixelRiffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Instead of promoting one of our own videos here in the End Screen Theatre, we of course want you to go and check out the work of Tinfoil Chef. We'll link his channel in the end screen today, and don't forget to give your close ones a hug while you're at it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.